Somebody had to do it. I am the chosen one. Somebody had to do it.
Having hard times in this crazy town. Having hard times. There's no love to be found. Having hard times in this crazy town. Having hard times. There's no love to be found. hard times in this crazy town. Having hard times. There's no love to be found. Having hard times in this crazy town. Having hard times. There's no love to be found.
Hit that like button, guys. Hit that like button. Shout out to Miss Cantrell with the $4.99. Thank you for the love. Starting the show out right early. Hit that like button, guys. Like, share, and subscribe. You gotta help your boy. I'm trying to fight the shadow ban, y'all. My numbers have been uncharacteristically low lately. You gotta help me get the word out, man. Like, share, and subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend. The show is starting in like 3 minutes, 2 minutes, maybe 1 minute.
Having hard times.
Help your boy out, y'all. YouTube is frauding me.
Having hard times.
YouTube is trying to 2020 election me, y'all. Share the video. Hit that like button. Make a post. Gotta help me fight the algorithm for the 2020 election me, y'all. They trying to do me like they did the 2020 election, y'all. It's terrible work. Fighting the shadow ban. They trying to give me that 2020 Fulton County treatment, y'all. But you know how it is. The show goes on, don't it?
FBI agents are on site at a Fulton County election office in Georgia, where they are conducting a search. David Spunt's got more details for us on this developing story. David?
Hi, Sandra. This is a satellite office for the Fulton County Elections Office. The FBI Atlanta press office confirming this, not giving many details, saying that the FBI is executing a court-authorized law enforcement action. No other details at this time, but we do know via sources a judge signed off on this warrant, allowing these agents, as you see them, enter this building to take items from the inside. Now, we're told that this is a sealed matter before the court, meaning details are now limited. Now, agents are looking at documents, phones, computers. We are told via multiple sources this is related to the 2020 presidential election. Now, we don't know specifically.
Now, hold on now. Hold up now. Put a 1 in the chat if you were told by all the reputable sources that the 2020 election was the most securest election in the world. Put a 1 in the chat if all of the professional smart people on the news told you that the 2020 election was the best election that they've ever had. It was like the most excellent, most perfect election ever.
But agents are taking to the FBI lab items that may eventually become part of a federal case. You may remember President Trump was charged in Fulton County with trying to overturn the 2020 election results. That's Brad Raffensperger right there. He is the Secretary of State of Georgia.
Right. Look at this beautiful, strong black woman who was somehow connected to the 2020 election. How could you imagine anything was wrong? Look at this woman. How could you look at this woman and think there's anything wrong with the 2020 election? I mean, come on now. That is a strong, bold, beautiful, sophisticated, intelligent, educated, strong black woman.
Georgia. That is the Fulton County District Attorney, Fani Willis. Now, Raffensperger spoke to President Trump back in early 2021, and Trump said that he wanted to find some 11,000 votes to help win the election. Raffensperger said that he felt pressure from Trump. Willis then took Donald Trump to trial. That didn't happen. In 2023, she said that her prosecution was all buttoned up, ready to go, but it was completely derailed after it was revealed she had an intimate relationship with the top prosecutor on her team, and it could have tainted the case. Late last year, a judge dismissed the case in its entirety. It's important to point out, Sandra, that a judge typically would not just sign off on a warrant so the FBI could go on what's known as a fishing expedition. It's likely the FBI and DOJ presented some credible evidence to the judge for the judge to go ahead.
What possible credible evidence could they have? How could you have credible evidence about the 2020 election being a fraud when I was told by everybody on television, cable news, basic TV, the magazines, the newspapers, everybody with a platform told me that it was perfect. It was the most excellent election ever. What kind of evidence could they possibly have that would convince a judge to sign off on a warrant
and give the green light? No immediate comment from the Justice Department. Again, the FBI confirming this court-authorized search warrant. We are waiting to see if perhaps Director Kash Patel, Attorney General Pam Bondi, or even Secretary Raffensperger, or perhaps Governor Brian Kemp have anything to say.
What was so interesting was I assumed coming into it that the big manufacturers, companies like ES&S and Dominion, had provided these machines to the hackers to, field test them. But no, it turns out there's an extremely hostile relationship there, and that ES&S and Dominion and other companies have basically said we don't want to participate, and really have been quite aggressive in saying we don't want to be part of this. So the organizers were reduced to finding these machines on eBay, which right there is pretty terrifying, because it turns out that anybody can buy some of the most common machines in use on eBay. What was really alarming was when you see these hackers, and these are people who've never seen these machines before, have had no practice on them for the most part, come in and engage them, they immediately get into the guts of them. Beyond that, we were seeing Dominion's ImageCast system. It's a line of tabulators that paper ballots are fed into. That had its guts all over the room. It was not clear to us whether this was the most recent version of the ImageCast hardware, but it's important to note that Georgia just spent over is about to spend over $100 million on a contract with Dominion to provide ImageCast hardware to the state in time for the for the next primaries and for the 2020 election. And yet here these kids were who had opened it up. They said, look, you can pop the front off of it, and here's a port you can get into right here. That's easy. All kinds of stuff that you could certainly do within 6 minutes behind a curtain, much less if you had extra time, because any of these were connected to the web, as we discovered a couple of days before. So many of them are.
As we mentioned a moment ago, the FBI executed a search warrant at the Fulton County, Georgia Elections Office yesterday. A spokeswoman for the county confirming to MS Now, agents at the Fulton County Election Hub and Operations Center were focused on the 2020 race where Joe Biden defeated Donald Trump and flipped the state. Agents searched for evidence of alleged voter fraud and potential violations of a federal statute that requires officials to maintain presidential election records for 22 months. That's according to a copy of the warrant obtained and verified by MS Now. The Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, was spotted during the search. It's worth noting her office has no law enforcement powers. Joining us now, the former mayor of Atlanta, now a Democratic candidate for governor of Georgia, Keisha Lance Bottoms. Mayor Bottoms.
She wants to be Governor Bottoms. Governor Bottoms sounds like a horrible, horrible title, but what do I know about these things?
It's great to have you on with us this morning. Few people are more plugged into Atlanta than you are into Fulton County. What more have you heard about this FBI raid yesterday and the justification for it?
Nobody knows the answer to that. There was no coordination with the clerk's office, with the district attorney's office, and as far as I know, with local law enforcement, which is highly unusual. Anytime you have a federal operation in a specific jurisdiction, there's normally a heads up. And what makes this even more baffling, we know that there are corporations that are sometimes criminal defendants, sometimes there are individuals who are criminal defendants, But to go after a government in this way really is an abuse of power and creating a level of anxiousness with elected officials and with people like me who worked very hard to turn out the vote in 2020. We don't know where this is going. And then I'll just point out, we have early voting that begins in less than 3 months in this state. So the question becomes, is this really about 2020 or is this really about 2026? We don't know the answer to that.
I think you're asking the right question, something John's been talking about this morning as well. You were mayor of Atlanta in 2020 during that election. The governor, Republican, the Secretary of State, Brad Raffensperger, Republican, two men who supported Donald Trump and famously rebuked him when he had that infamous phone call seeking nearly 12,000 votes so that he could actually take the election. Can you just remind our viewers about how meticulous and repeated the counting of the vote was in 2020?
So anytime you have an election, if there is a question about the election, which Donald Trump raised, there's an opportunity to count these votes, to recount these votes, and to make sure that they are appropriately certified. And what makes it even more bizarre about his focus on Fulton County is that a Republican presidential candidate has not won Fulton County since 1972. So even in 2020, Donald Trump lost Fulton County by more than 200,000 votes. He lost again in 2024 by more than 200,000 votes. So this is not an instance where we have
that's what you guys want us to believe. But if that's really, really true, what are they looking for at the election office, And not for nothing, but over the years, there's just been way too much corollary evidence for me to at least believe something's wrong. Like a vertical line on an election chart is a near impossibility. It's like one of those 99.9999999 things. It just never, ever happens like that. What are we supposed to believe when we see magical things happening? Are we supposed to believe in magic?
Close elections, say even my election that was decided by less than 800 or roughly 800 votes when I was elected mayor, this was not even close. So his focus on Fulton County is just, in a word, bizarre. And we don't know what it means for the people of Fulton County as we enter this midterm season.
So Mayor Bottoms, news that ICE has opened up a new office just outside Atlanta this week. It is perceived by some as perhaps a sign that Atlanta could be a city that the agency will target in the foreseeable future for a surge. It hasn't yet, still may. You are running for governor. If you were elected, how would that dynamic work? Explain to us how you would oversee the relationship between the state government and the federal government over immigration operations, and in particular, ICE surges.
Well, we had an opportunity to work with ICE when I was mayor. And the reality is we have federal partnerships all of the time, whether we are working together to coordinate public safety for a big event, say the Super Bowl, or if you're trying to get a violent criminal off of your streets. But when ICE is being irresponsible, then we as leaders have to respond accordingly. As mayor, during the family separation crisis, when I could not get reassurances from the Trump administration that ICE would not separate families and detain them. And
what family separation crisis? I don't remember American citizens going through a family separation crisis. She must be talking about the lockdowns. She must be talking about the lockdowns and the mandates and all that. That's the only family separation crisis I remember Americans going through. Guys, what family separation crisis is she talking about? I don't remember anything like that unless you're talking about the lockdowns. That was the only time I think America had a true family separation crisis. But what do you mean other than that?
Our city detention center, I made the decision to end our relationship with ICE, to end a multi-year a multi-million-dollar contract with ICE. So I think that we have to examine this on a case-by-case basis. As governor of the state, I'll look at what our relationship is with ICE. Is ICE acting responsibly, or are they putting our citizens and even our law enforcement in danger? When you come into a jurisdiction, when you come into a state and you are not coordinating with partners on the ground, you are putting everyone in danger. We have seen this play out, unfortunately, in Minnesota, and it's my hope that we won't have a repeat in Georgia.
Mayor Bottoms, apart from your being a candidate for governor, what are your thoughts as a citizen who relies on the federal governments often, for what's happening to the Department of Justice and the FBI in terms of being involved in clearly a political operation like this?
I am deeply troubled. I have been an attorney for over 30 years. I had an opportunity to serve as a ProHack magistrate judge in Fulton County. And what I am seeing is something that I've never experienced in my lifetime. Congressman John Lewis was my congressman, and I'm often reminded of his statement that the right to vote is almost sacred. And if we don't use it, we will lose it. And what we are seeing happening and playing out in Fulton County right now is an effort to take away that right to vote, to take away our ability to trust in free and fair elections. There have been victims in this case. Victims like the Fulton County workers who were terrorized by Rudy Giuliani and these false narratives around votes in Fulton County. And
don't think we forgot about what you did to Rudy. Don't think we forgot about Ruby Freeman. It was I who sung to you the ballad of Ruby Freeman. I will never forget what she did.
You know, unfortunately, Donald Trump did project to us what he would do. He said this would be a term of retribution. And unfortunately, we are seeing it play out in real time. He's already endorsed a candidate on the Republican side in the governor's race in Georgia. And so I can't help but wonder what these actions on the ground in Fulton County will mean for free and fair elections in 2026 and beyond.
As you think about that election coming up here in the fall, we talk a lot about immigration. Obviously, the American people, according to polling, even this morning, we're showing do not like what they're seeing. But in some ways, that's been overshadowing lately the questions about the economy and that people are struggling in this country and don't think that President Trump is doing a good job with the economy. So as you move forward in your campaign and you've been talking to voters, what are the big issues you're hearing about, and what do you think will be decisive in that election, but also in elections across the country come fall?
Every single stop that I've made in the state, the issue of affordability has come up, whether it's utility prices or healthcare. Georgia is one of 9 states that have not expanded Medicaid. So even before the big ugly bill, we already had a healthcare crisis in the state. We've had 9 rural hospitals to close, with the ACA subsidies being taken away. 1.5 million Georgians have seen their premiums skyrocket. I have a very close friend who owns a small business. Their premiums were around $650 a month for her family. She told me they've gone up to over $2,200 a month. This is happening and it's playing out across the state. I've talked with several voters who have.
Ain't nobody worried about that shit. We trying to figure out what happened to the 2020 election. Did you fraud or nah? That's what the people want to know. Did you fraud or nah? Because I was told it was the most perfect election ever. We had nothing to worry about. You guys were crazy. Nothing to see here. Shout out to Smarty Pants with the 199. We are in a bullshit bitch revolution. That's right. I call bullshit. And notice how most of the election fraud centers are like major urban Black population areas, and a lot of the people who are in charge of those areas are the
because there are a lot of people in this country who do not like Black women, but Black women are the base of the Democratic Party.
These angry, mad, opportunistic, lying Black women.
Hi, everybody. Listen, I know you're watching the news. You're saying a lot of stuff about this FBI raid at the Fulton County elections and registrations. I'm on the inside right now. So I just want you to be like real discerning about all that you're hearing from people who are on the outside of what's going on. I'm going to give you the truth about what's happening. So they served a warrant, the FBI, this is Trump, serving a warrant to go pick up the 2020 ballots, which are in a secure location inside of here, 700 boxes. The first warrant that they gave was incorrect legally, like they didn't follow the right procedure. They went back and they fixed it, and they came back, and now they are actually collecting the boxes. They are in the chain of command in Fulton County is that once they are archived, they become the possession of the clerk of Superior Court, which is Shay Alexander. She is here and she is with them inventorying everything that they're taking. We, the commissioners, the chairman.
Shay Alexander sounds like another Keisha. Just throwing it out there. Shay Alexander sounds like a Keisha name.
The county attorney are trying to figure out a legal plan as to maybe an injunction, a motion to quash. We don't know yet. We're trying to figure it out. We're getting all kinds of legal advice to stop this, because once they have the ballots, how do we then turn around and do something different when they've already got their hands on it? So this is an attempt to take your vote away. This is all about November 2026, about the primary on May 19th and then the November election. He does not want the midterm elections to take away his power. So he's trying to create chaos. So this is what he does. Chaos in Minnesota, chaos in Fulton County. We are a target. Protect your vote at all costs. I'm telling you, everybody always says your life depends on it. Oh, your life does depend on it this time.
They are in there collecting 700 boxes of ballots right now. We are obviously concerned about once the ballots leave here, what will happen to the ballots, and our lawyers are going to be working on that. They are working on that as we speak right now. Let me just speak to the larger issue about what this is really all about. This is a scare tactic. This is something that we have seen done before. This is to instill fear and chaos, something that, our officials at the national level are doing on a daily basis. And this is not a surprise for us here in Fulton County. This is meant to make people afraid to go to the polls because midterm elections are going to be so crucial to course correcting what is going on in our country. So instead of taking care of people who are dying in the streets of Minnesota, they are here in Fulton County trying to get ballots from 2020 that have been in storage for now 6 years from when it was found that there was no problems with the 2020 election. They are in there collecting 700 boxes of ballots right now. We are obviously.
Now, I was talking about this the other day, and just remember, Keisha is a Karen too. A lot of people have begun to speak up lately and talk directly about how a lot of this modern social and political chaos is directly related to female emotionalism, to be nice. And wherever you find the Keisha going crazy, there's probably some Karens above it controlling the whole thing.
What you're doing is extremely dangerous.
Why is it dangerous?
Because you're spreading conspiracy theories.
It's not a conspiracy theory. Do you have $45? I'm not undermining. I'm not saying people are voting there. Ma'am, I'm not saying that people are voting there. I'm not saying people are voting there. I'm saying people are currently registered to vote there. We went around Fulton County the last few weeks and we see that people are currently registered to vote in places like empty lots, homeless shelters that closed 10 years ago. What would you do if you become Secretary of State to address that?
I'm not going to reply to conspiracy theories.
It's not conspiracy. It's a current. You can currently go on the voter rolls, purchase them for $45, and go there with us. We will gladly take you if you want to go to.
I appreciate what you're saying. I'm not going to respond to conspiracy theories.
How is that a conspiracy theory? It's an active voter rolls. If you're going to be running for Secretary of State, you're in charge of maintaining the voter rolls. Don't you care about if people are registered to vote from empty lots?
Questions. I appreciate it. I've got to.
Do you think it's a conspiracy theory that people are registered to vote from empty lots, though? Well, I have the ability to go wherever I want to. People are currently registered to vote in empty lots, Commissioner. And if you're going to run for Secretary of State, aren't you going to at least take a look at that? It took me $45 to purchase the voter rolls. You can do that as well for the Fulton County. You can see that people are registered to vote from empty lots. They're registered to vote at a MARTA bus station. Are you not going to do anything about that? You're just going to call that conspiracy theories again? We have exact addresses that you can go to right now. 205 Elm Street Northwest. It's an empty lot. You can go there right now and see it for yourself. Do you not care about that? You're an elected official and you don't want to address that? Commissioner, if you're going to be running for Secretary of State and that involves maintaining clean voter rolls in one of the most important counties, I would say, in the United States.
I think what you're doing is extremely dangerous.
Why is it dangerous?
Because you're spreading conspiracy theories.
It's not a conspiracy theory. Do you have $45? I'm not undermining. I'm not saying people are voting there. Ma'am, I'm not saying that people are voting there. I'm not saying people are voting there. I'm saying people are currently registered to vote there. Jason, right? People are currently registered to vote there. We're not saying people are voting there, Commissioner. We're saying clean the rolls. Jason, so she said that it's a conspiracy theory. Let me actually.
Going inside of the election facility. Our photographer was able to go inside. He was let inside and allowed to be up and close. As you can see, this is interesting because one of the questions we did ask Larry was if agents were restricting his access or asking him to back up at all. And he said that so far they've been allowing reporters to get up close to the situation.
Outside if you want to take that. Yeah.
Okay, so now agents are asking them to back up.
Actually, you shouldn't even be in this area, but hey, you know what? I don't have a key, so there you go. Okay.
Okay, so agents are asking them to back up, saying our crew should not be in this area. So this is something we're going to continue to monitor. And as our photojournalist gathers more information and reporter Larry Sproul gathers more information, we're going to be able to hopefully get that information for you. Right now,
Let's get right to our MS Now team. Josh Einiger on the ground in Fulton County. Also with us, political contributor Greg Bluestein of the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, who was at the Fulton County facility while the FBI was on scene. And also joining us, national security analyst and former FBI special agent Michael Feinberg. Josh, the county commissioner says the FBI took pallets of ballots. So what exactly did the FBI take? Because this was an extremely broad search warrant.
It was a very broad search warrant, Anna, and it really had to do with all available ballots from the 2020 election. Notably, they did not leave an inventory list, which is typically the case. So exactly what was taken has not been made public just yet, but pallets of ballots, as you say, according to that source. We are waiting for county officials, as you say, any minute now to address what happened here, and perhaps we'll get more information from them. But let's take a step back for a second. These ballots were only here because of what has been described by a source here in Fulton County this morning as a gadfly lawsuit that was underway and has been underway now for years from someone who still believes in the now discredited theories of election fraud here in Fulton County in 2020. A judge had ordered these ballots, which ordinarily under statute would have been destroyed after 22 months, be held in the building behind me. And so that was why they were here in the first place. And then yesterday, of course, a U.S. attorney in Missouri filed a search warrant. The FBI came here and executed that warrant to take all that material, and they were here for hours taking those pallets away. A little while ago, we spoke with Jeff Duncan, who was the Republican lieutenant governor here in Georgia back in 2020. He's now a Democrat and running for governor. Here's his take on what happened here last night.
There's no fact pattern that shows that this is about facts throughout the entire almost 6 years now. This is about a political vengeance. This is about trying to prove a narrative that's not true. And quite honestly, I mean, they should have moved on. This isn't about what's good for the country. This is about what's doing good for Donald Trump.
Imagine somebody robbing you and telling you that you should have moved on. That's like the Somalis walking away with the 30 whatever billion dollars in fraud money they got, and then they tell us we should just move on. Forget it. I thought this was America, people. I thought you were bigger than that.
Fears among County Democrats this morning that all of this is an attempt to sow seeds of discontent and seeds of really make people question future election results here in 2026 and in 2028. Of course, we are waiting, as you point out, Anna, for Fulton County officials, the county the head of the Board of Elections here to address the press just in the next couple of minutes about perhaps more information about what was taken yesterday. Anna.
Josh Einiger, thank you for that. Keep us posted as you get more information. And of course, we'll be standing by for that press conference with the county officials. Michael, one of the people who's going to be given this briefing is Fulton County Commission Chair Rob Pitts. And about these ballots that were taken, he says, we don't know where they're being taken. We don't know what's going to happen to them. Again, pallets of ballots. How do we make sure these ballots aren't altered?
So normally, there is a very strict chain of custody when the FBI seizes items pursuant to a search warrant. And that chain of custody needs to be offered up at court to defense counsel before the evidence is used. And that should list everybody who at any point had the evidence. Now, this is really going to get interesting, and I don't want to jump on something you're probably going to cover in a minute. But there was a pretty notable non-law enforcement personnel person there who was alone with evidence for some time, it appears, based on a photograph we've seen. And I don't know what's going to happen if they try and call her to testify, because she, by dint of her position, should have nothing to do with law enforcement operations whatsoever.
I think he's talking about Tulsi Gabbard, who is an administration official. She's a part of ICE for some reason, but it would be interesting to find out how many illegal immigrants that are on the ICE database are also on the Georgia voting database as well. I bet you that's why Tulsi was there.
You're talking about Tulsi Gabbard, the director of national intelligence who showed up on scene?
Oh, she's from National Intelligence. My bad.
Yes, and based on that photo, at one point she was in a truck with box loads of what are apparently ballots, which means if she was alone, she is going to need to be on the chain of custody for those ballots and explain to defense counsel why she was with them and what she was doing. And if there is a special agent in there with her, that special agent is going to be on the chain of custody and is probably going to get asked by defense counsel why on earth somebody was allowed to be with that evidence who is not a member of the FBI nor on the chain of custody.
So, Michael, let me interrupt
way-
you for just a second, and I'll ask you to continue, but we just literally got some information about why Tulsi Gabbard was there. This is per a Trump administration official. Director Gabbard has a pivotal role in election security and protecting the integrity of our elections against interference, including operations targeting voting systems, databases, and election infrastructure.
You know, Bandit, that's a great point. I keep hearing Venezuela pop up in election fraud conversations between the company Dominion Voting or whatever its name is and the country of Venezuela. There seems to be some kind of tentative link there.
She has and will continue to take action on President Trump's directive to secure our elections and work with our interagency partners to do so. What do you make of that explanation?
It doesn't pass the laugh test for anybody who's actually worked in this world. And there's a couple reasons for that. First of all, this was collection of evidence. There is nothing there that cannot be reported to called Tulsi Gabbard once they have processed it, analyzed it, and finished doing whatever they were doing on site. Again, it is unheard of for non-law enforcement personnel to take place in the execution of a search warrant. Secondly, this is a criminal investigation. It is looking at past conduct. Even if we believe
it is a little bit of a stretch to say what is she, like the Secretary of National Security? I mean, to say that national security is just literally not law enforcement is a bit of a stretch, all right? I don't even think that really flies, bro.
Believed that Tulsi Gabbard should be involved in law enforcement actions relating to the security of our elections. That is only something that she would be doing if there was something happening presently or in the future. It is inexplicable that there was why she was there. There is literally no legitimate reason that she should have been on site.
So, Greg, there's now the DOJ, the DNI, the FBI, all apparently involved in this. It's a massive escalation in the president's persistent and disproven election fraud claims. How did we get here? And I know you were on scene. What stood out to you?
Yeah, how we got here is, frankly, local officials have been expecting this, dreading this for a year now. There were rumors that this could be happening a year ago. And when President Trump spoke at Davos saying essentially that some people could soon be punished for their roles in the 2020 elections, Fulton County officials went into sort of hyper overdrive, being vigilant about this potential possibility. They were still surprised when it happened so soon, happened yesterday. We reached out to local officials as it was happening who said, we don't know what's going on. We have no idea what they're taking, what they're looking for. There was some confusion about the warrant that needed to be broadened after it was filed incorrectly at first. But what we have now are a number of mysteries, including the Tulsi Gabbard question, which we just tackled, but also what happens next. And a lot of local officials are worried that this will end up kind of triggering a Georgia law that passed after the 2020 election that could allow the state to have more authority in Fulton County elections. Fulton County is Georgia's most populous county. It's also one of the bluest counties in Georgia. It has had a history of election issues for decades of, slow reporting of results, those sort of things. But local officials have really worked to revamp the system. And even state officials a few years ago said, you know what, they've cleaned up their act. And now there's a possibility, a really distinct possibility, that the state could now take more control over Fulton County elections ahead of the midterm.
So, Michael, I'm thinking that a judge had to sign off on the search warrants, right? Does that give this investigation any more legitimacy?
Like we said before, there has to be something concrete in a search warrant for a judge to just sign off. It can't be like a fishing expedition. And in order for something to be concrete in its context, they have to have at least more than circumstantial evidence. They have to have some type of case that there's something here to look for. So the question is, what are they looking for?
Yes and no. Obviously, the fact that the government presented a theory of criminal action and a plan to an independent judge who is not part of the executive branch, obviously, should give us a little comfort. What worries me is that there is something within Fourth Amendment jurisprudence called the plain view doctrine, which means that if you are searching for evidence of crime X, but inadvertently in the course of that, without trying, come across evidence of crime Y, you're allowed to use that evidence for crime Y's investigation and prosecution. Normally, you would not be able to take evidence for something unrelated to the specific search warrant. And I really do worry that this administration, which has repeatedly shown disdain for the separation of criminal investigations from political policies, used a small legitimate misdemeanor charge, which is what is on the warrant, as an effort to get into what is essentially an archival facility for 2020 ballots. And then in going meticulously through them, pursuant to that misdemeanor investigation, is going to say, oh, while we were there, we found all this other stuff. And they're going to have it now, and they're going to use it or alter it to forward paranoid conspiracies about what happened in Georgia in 2020.
speak to the larger issue about what this is really all about. This is a scare tactic. This is something that we have seen done before. This is to instill fear and chaos, something that, our officials at the national level are doing on a daily basis. And this is not a surprise for us here in Fulton County. This is meant to make people afraid to go to the polls because midterm elections are going to be so crucial to course correcting what is going on in our country. So instead of taking care of people who are dying in the streets of Minnesota, they're here in Fulton County trying to get ballots from 2020 that have been in storage for now 6 years from when it was found that there was no problems with the 2020 election, that Fulton County runs excellent elections. And that is the fear, that Fulton County will again run an excellent election in 2026. It just won't turn out the way that they want it to. So this is a matter of what we've seen, the old tactics just coming back up again, resurfacing as something new, which it is not, and very predictable. The best thing you can do as a voter, I can do as a voter, what we all can do as a voter is protect your own vote. Don't get scared by these things. There's an election in May for a primary and there's an election in November. And we should all turn out, no matter what party you are voting for, to protect the right to vote in America. This is not just about Fulton County. Fulton County is right now the target, the only county right now fighting over an election that already happened, but it is coming to a place near you. This is the beginning of the chaos of 2026 that is about to ensue. So if we are starting this early in January, you can only imagine what is going to happen in October. So we need to be vigilant. We need to.
Those look like the type of sunglasses you wear when your boyfriend beats you. Those are the glasses you wear when you're trying to hide something from people.
Protect our rights to vote, no matter who you want to vote for. We need to do that, and that's what we're here to do today. So Commissioner Arrington is here. Did you want to?
Yes, absolutely. Good afternoon, everyone. Marvin Arrington Jr. This is absolutely crazy. A judge has sealed these records. Judge McBurney has these records under seal. They have filed a lawsuit seeking the exact same records and were denied access in that lawsuit. And because they were denied access in the civil lawsuit, they are now serving a criminal search warrant.
And who's the defendant?
And the criminal search warrant.
Shut up, Keisha. It's his turn on the mic. You had your turn on the mic. Now let this nigga with the funny bow tie and that weird white shit around his mouth talk. It's his turn to talk, Keisha. He clearly not ready for the moment, but let him talk. It's his moment, goddammit.
Is under seal.
Right.
So we don't even know who the target of the investigation is. This is nothing but sowing the seeds of distrust, right? This is a full frontal attack on democracy. This is a code red in America, in Fulton County. We've seen it in Minneapolis, and now we're seeing it here in Fulton County. We must do everything that we can to protect the right to vote. These records are under seal. Judge McBurney has not issued an order opening these records or allowing these records to be viewed by the government. And until and unless he enters such an order, these records should not be seen or viewed by anyone. And
the federal government doesn't care about your little Georgia County clerk judge. Your little Macon County judge don't mean shit in Washington, D.C., nigga.
So we're
judge probably your uncle or some shit. We don't care about that.
Thankful to have our partners here from the state standing with us, because this again is a full frontal attack on democracy. And
you know what? I mean, let me just say that we are going to, if there's a question of are we going to take all legal action to make sure that, this, what I consider to be an assault on voters. This is an assault on your vote. So I think that, Marvin is an attorney, I'm an attorney. We are all trying to figure out what to do about this. But what we know is that does not even matter. We know in America right now, it does not even matter. if what you are saying is the right thing. If our president wants to bring in the forces, he will, and he has. And so it's in Fulton County now. So we have to protect. You need to go to your voter page, make sure that you are still registered to vote. You need to check every week. You need to be unafraid of these scare tactics, and you need to go out there and vote, because what they're—
I swear to God, black folk really hate when you check the records, man. Black folk, you don't gotta read that shit. Just trust me, bro. Niggas really hate when you start checking the records and reading up on the data. Like, what you need data for? What you need facts and data and all that stuff for? Why don't you just take my word for it? Just believe me. Just trust me, bro. They be oppressing me and shit.
mostly afraid of is that you—
The fact that you don't believe me is low-key racism and oppression, too. This is just how white supremacy operates.
will vote them out. That is what they are afraid of. Because midterm elections are going to be a course correction in this country, and they know it. And that's what they're afraid of. So we will not be deterred. We will work together in Fulton County. We will work together with our state partners, and we will move forward, and we will be here protecting your right to vote in Fulton County. Fulton County is a majority Democratic county. So don't be confused as to why this is happening in Fulton County. It's very easy. Follow it. This is not difficult. I don't want anybody to think like, oh, this is something that's so above my heads. It's not above your heads. You need to understand it as the people. You have the power to change this. And
I've been telling y'all ever since Trump came back in, he has been waging a very strategic, tactical, political war against the Democratic political machine, their voting establishment, getting rid of illegals, checking the voter logs. The level of hose mad that we are witnessing now is politically unprecedented.
Hose mad, hose mad, hose mad, hose mad, hose mad, hose mad.
This is about targeting women of color in the United States of America. Don't tell me, because I didn't get a single apology.
Time has expired.
When my life was threatened. Thank you.
Hose mad, hose mad, hose mad, hose mad, hose mad, hose mad, hose mad.
Hey, Keisha, black women are losing government jobs like crazy right now. If I was y'all, I would shut up. I would just shut up and get out the way.
you know that this election in 2026 is going to be in your hands. So let's protect it.
Why do you think this is happening right now?
I mean, because it's never too early to start.
It's retribution. He is enacting retribution. He's enacting retribution on Fulton County,
That's
on
right.
Minnesota, on places that did not vote for him.
Why isn't he asking for the 2024 ballots?
Commissioner, explain again.
How about the 2024 ballots? Do they want those, or there were no issues in 2024?
They couldn't get the ballots, so now this is a criminal offense, but there's no named defendant.
That's right.
Yeah, so there is a civil lawsuit going on where they were seeking the exact same records. They sent a subpoena. It was denied because of the existing court order that put those records under seal, put these voting records under seal, and they couldn't get it then. They sent a subpoena. They've done it like 2 or 3 times.
Right.
And so since they could not get it the proper way legally through civil action, now miraculously there is a criminal action with an unnamed defendant. Who's the unnamed defendant? What is this about? If it was
Yo, somebody typed this in the chat earlier. Bro really is like, damn, the law crazy. He really don't know what the fuck hit him. He like, yo, this white man law is crazy. This is like magical.
criminal, why didn't they file the criminal search warrant?
And he a lawyer too. He should understand what's happening. He a lawyer.
Prior to getting denied 2 times in the civil court.
Does a criminal search warrant, when it is served, supposed to be unsealed?
I do not know. I think a judge needs to answer that question. And I have asked the county attorney, and Commissioner Ivory has asked the county attorney to file whatever we can file in order to stop this madness.
Are you hearing about other raids happening in other counties?
No, I heard they're going to try to, the FBI is supposed to be doing a press conference here at 6 o'clock.
Scoot over so we can bring Shay and Eric.
Yes, yes.
Jay.
Clerk Alexander? Yes. I think it's very important to bring our clerk of Superior Court, Madam Shay Alexander, who's been dealing with this all day because the records are under her chain of custody.
Madam Clerk, can you talk about what it was like to see these agents?
Not at this time.
Look at Big Shay. That's Big Shay Shay. She run this whole thing. Don't nothing go by Big Shay Shay without her noticing. How you gonna call Big Shay Shay a liar? Get Big Shay up in there. Tell her to calm down. Tell him calm down, Big Shay. She got this.
I'm still processing it. I came out to go to the store to get some water and saw my colleagues and wanted to say hi. I'm just trying to get my staff some water right now. That's all I can do.
Right now, clerk.
I don't know what's going on.
So I'll say this: the first warrant was to the elections hub, which was incorrect, and so that had to be sent back, and they had to get a new warrant directed to the Clerk of Superior Court, Madam Shay, because she is the holder of the archives from the elections. And so apparently they have now done that. They're now going in there. My question is, I want to make sure that there is a full and complete inventory, because these are the original voting records, original absentee ballots, right? And so once that stuff leaves our custody, where's the chain of custody? Once it leaves our control, how can we know if we're going to get everything back? How can we know if they might do something?
We won't.
Oh, you don't trust them? They don't trust you neither, nigga. How about that? You don't trust them and they don't trust you. It's like a goddamn Mexican standoff.
We don't know.
We won't, and we don't know.
They're taking ballots. We're not doing any inventory.
Yeah,
we don't even know what they're taking.
The ballots are
You said they might lose them. Trump gonna lose my ballot. He said Trump gonna lose his ballot, y'all.
on pallets because because Fulton County runs great elections, and elections from 2020 would already be archived, sealed, put in boxes, put on pallets, and secured. They wouldn't just be boxes floating around, allowed to be accessed. So they already are on pallets, and they're removing the whole pallets. So how can we then inventory what they're taking? You can only see what is happening on the outside of the pallet. You would not be able to see on the inside what the boxes are on the pallets. This is intentional.
Going in and out of the building all afternoon. Have the ballots actually left the building?
Yeah, they're leaving the building right now.
What did the warrant say?
The warrant said all the 2020 ballots, absentee ballots. No, they said what they were coming here to get, and they're getting it.
How does this search warrant supersede the seal? That's the part I think we're not understanding.
Because it's criminal versus civil. The seal is a civil case. They came and brought a criminal case, so that is why it's not connected. And that's what the lawyers are working on right now. What do we do next? And we have a band. There's a band of lawyers right here working on it all. It's
You niggas got out lawyered. A band of lawyers here. You don't know what happened. You got a band of lawyers here, and they're like, I don't understand what Trump just did. We're all trying to put our heads together and figure it out.
not it. It's intentional for people to be in office who have the skills to deal with these things. And all of us are trying to come together to figure out what to do next. There's a band of people working on because we're under assault. I mean, I think you know that.
Is this unprecedented?
Of course, he's unprecedented. Right?
How concerned are you this would interfere?
It is. How confident are we? It is. We just had a town hall last week on Thursday about elections. We knew this was going to happen. This is about sowing the seed of fear that people will not show up to the polls in May and November. This is what it is. We're 100% sure this is what it is.
Do any of our state reps want to say anything? Certainly, we're glad to have you all speak.
Draper is
And do any of you white folk want to talk? Because they're not going to believe us if it's just us niggas up here. When it's just black folk up here, we do look kind of guilty. Do any of y'all white folk want to come up here and say something on behalf of us niggas?
our resident voting rights expert to talk about where we are.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Syra Draper. I'm the State House Representative for House District 90. Ever since 2020, there is a man who cannot get over the fact that he lost here in Georgia. He simply cannot get over it. And now, in a vindictive nature, he is coming after us. Now, since 2020, there have been many attempts to get at the documents in Fulton County and to sow to undermine the confidence in what Fulton County has done. But there have been audits after audits. There have been court cases filed here in Fulton County to find out what has gone on. There has been an independent investigation through the SEB that absolved Fulton County of any kind of misconduct or systemic voter fraud, right? That simply has not happened here. I would tell you, if this administration had a genuine interest in getting to voter fraud, they should be investigating Coffee County, where we have actual evidence of people going into the election office after hours and copying election documents. But there's not an interest in going to Coffee County, which is a red county. Fulton County is being targeted because it is the largest county in Georgia and it is the home of Atlanta.
That's right.
So this does not pass the smell test, obviously. They have failed at every juncture to be able to get these documents. And so they have now found this loophole to try and get to it. But I will tell you that we are not done. We are going to continue to stand up for the rights of voters. And I agree with everything Commissioner Ivory said, that the best thing that you can do as a Georgia citizen is get to the polls and cast your ballot, because they wouldn't be trying so hard to stop you from voting if they weren't worried about what the impact would be. Thank you. Anybody else like to?
All right, thank you, everybody.
Can we clarify once again just when and why the ballots were placed under seal? Just for clarification.
I think that's the normal process. Yeah. That is the normal process. I think Commissioner Barrett has joined us. Certainly, if you want to say something, Commissioner Barrett, the normal process is for those records to be under seal.
Yeah, they aren't just for people to be able to come and review, right? Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, everybody. I'm also just coming out after talking to all of our experts. I mean, obviously, we're doing everything that we must legally, but I agree with my colleagues. We are all absolutely going to stand up and make sure that Fulton County voters get to cast their vote in the 2026 election and the 2028 election. There is no excuse for the state elections board to take over our elections. As I said earlier today, this is political theater. It is a distraction from the actions that are, of ICE in Minnesota, killing people, the threats of Pam Bondi to not leave Minnesota if they don't turn over their voter rolls. I mean, this is the kind of things that are happening. So, this is just unacceptable, and we are following the law, but we will defend Fulton County votes at all costs.
Has anything been filed that will keep the patients here? A stay,
no.
Filed to the judge, so we can try to get a stay, anything where these documents cannot leave here, because we do know how important it is.
Yeah.
These are
not yet. We've asked the attorney to take the appropriate action, and she is investigating to see what can be filed and under what circumstances it can be filed. But certainly we don't want to get in the way of a criminal investigation, but it's a criminal investigation to nowhere.
Yeah, and I will only add that I know our county attorneys are talking to some of the top criminal attorneys that are in town and know how to handle these cases. So we're getting advice from the best.
Yeah.
One more thing. I do think this is a pretext for trying to take over Fulton County elections. The Georgia legislature with SB 202 passed a provision that the state could overtake specific counties if certain circumstances were met. They attempted to do that with Fulton County, but the independent report recommended that the state not take over Fulton County elections. So they tried to do this, they failed, and now they're going for another bite at the apple. So that is a very real risk when the Republican-run Georgia state government tries to overtake what's happening in Fulton County and what's happening with Fulton voters who have elected their representatives to run their elections.
Yeah, there are multiple things going on in Fulton.
All right, we've been watching to.
Shout out to True Hype with the $5 super chat. He says that we need a new term because theory is an educated guess, and a ton of this stuff turns into conspiracy facts. Now, speaking of conspiracy facts, I want to introduce you guys to somebody, a winner of the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Here she is right now getting her award from President Biden himself.
Ruby Freeman. Inspired by the voting rights legacy of her beloved Atlanta, Lady Ruby Freeman viewed her civic duty as a Fulton County election worker as a sacred.
Is lady like a title Is she like a knight or something now? Did they give this bitch a title? How did she go from Ruby Freeman to Lady Ruby Freeman in the White House? What does that even mean? How do you even get such a thing?
Inspired by the voting rights legacy of her beloved Atlanta, Lady Ruby Freeman viewed her civic duty as a Fulton County election worker as a sacred mission to ensure the people of Georgia could exercise their fundamental right to vote freely and fairly. In the 2020 election, she upheld that sacred mission despite an orchestrated campaign to overturn the election and that targeted and threatened her and her family. To the nation, she bore witness of the trauma and tragedy of that experience, and today, we the people honor Lady Ruby Freeman as part of our nation's voting rights history.
They literally celebrated what they did and then gave this old black lady with the terrible wig an award, because you know that is not your real hair. None of these hairs are your real hair, by the way. I don't think anyone's seen Ruby Freeman's real hair since 1988.
I got a lot of work to do, y'all. So I'm working 7 days a week, but I'm getting it done. I was out for 10 days because I ain't like the way things were going. So I just said, yeah, anywho, I'll see y'all when I see you. But I'm back, ready to work. I'm gonna let y'all see this. Okay, don't say nothing. Listen, look.
This is Ruby Freeman on election day. Well, after the election, counting ballots. This is her walking into the room where she has access to all the ballots, and she's one of the ballot counters, I guess you can say. All the votes. These are all the votes that Trump just came to seize today. Everything she's touching right now is what Trump came to get today.
Voters registration. Sir, can I have some work? It's been 30 minutes.
30 minutes.
Uh-huh.
That's all you give me.
I'm going to give you but 5. I come to work, y'all, and they talk about me. Oh, they talk about me. I don't care. Because I told them I didn't want to work. Oh, Dion, thank you. Thank you, love. When I didn't want to work, I took off for 10 days. Now I'm back at work. Give me some work. Because I come to work. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Oh, you're going to give me, oh, you just gave me one. God bless you real good. Thank you.
I want to give you 2. I ain't gonna overwork you.
Overwork? Ain't no such thing. I'm going to be here till 7 o'clock. Okay. Y'all see all this I got to do? I got to do all this. Enter all these absentee ballots.
Don't mind Miss Ruby.
Whatever.
Eight o'clock in the morning, and we're going to roll this back and show it to you. There you go. So now they're going to start pulling these ballots out from under this table. This table, the black one, was placed there by the lady with the blonde braids. Eight o'clock in the morning, and we're going to roll this back and show it to you. There you go. So now they're going to start pulling these ballots out from under this table. This table, the black one, was placed there by the lady with the blonde braids at about 8:22 a.m. in the morning. So she put that table there. So the same person who's staying behind now, the same person who cleared the place out under the pretense that we're going to stop counting, is the person who put the table there at 8:22 in the morning. Yeah, I saw 4 suitcases come out from underneath the table. Yeah, upper right hand, you see the gentleman in red. So he just pulled one out. Eight o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
But I would love to go live with that. Because the balance is history. Even though my name is still lingering, if people gonna believe what they want to believe. But now it's the USB port, so I need an attorney. I want to go live. I'll go live on every platform because it is going to blow your mind, and you are going to be amazed at that picture came to your mind. That picture came to your mind, and when you thought about me, you are going to be amazed. I can't do it. I want an attorney, and I want to go live. I need an attorney. I can tell you did, but everybody needs to know this how young they are.
You want a chair? Glad you like my eyewear. Honey, Fulton County. Got a pen. I need some glasses. I got see out of here, farsighted, computer, bifocal, and then the sunglass thing. Oh yeah, I said, go on and give me the whole kit and caboodle. Ain't no sense in playing. Give me all of it. Everything. And I came back. I said, I'm not holding my mouth. I'm not holding my mouth. And then I watched that movie, y'all, with, people coming. I watched that movie, y'all, with Queen Latifah, last holiday, when she thought she was going to die. And she was just telling it like it is without being mean. She was telling it. I watched that movie, too. I came back pumped up. I came back ready. I was ready for him. So I said, if y'all stop talking, then I'll stop playing my gospel music. We have to make a deal. So anyway, I'm going back to work now. Hey, Renee, I love y'all. I love y'all so much. Thank you. I'm glad you like my eyewear. Honey, Fulton County. Got a pen. I need some glasses. I got see out of here, farsighted, computer, bifocal, and then the sunglass thing. Oh yeah, I said, go on and give me the whole kit and caboodle. Ain't no sense in playing. Give me all of it. Give me all of it. So I love y'all. Ciao. Look out for my different posts. I'll talk to you later, okay? All right. Ciao, everybody. Pray for us. Voters registration and election, Fulton County, downtown ATL. Pray for us. Yeah, I don't get on the phone. That's not my assignment. I can't get on the phone. Brenda, bucket. Okay. I'll be talking to y'all all day because I love y'all. I miss everybody. Y'all just don't know when I be posting the pictures about my treasures. I be so glad when I get back on the road. You have no lipstick, mask take all your lipstick off. But I do put it on, sure do, and it just have to go away. But I'll be so glad when I get back on the road, y'all. Oh my God, I miss it so much. I miss all of my customers. Brenda, she's out of state. I said, well, thank you, Brenda. I think Brenda is in Michigan. Yeah, so I miss everybody. I love traveling. I miss traveling so much. Y'all just don't even know. So just pray I maintain, keep these voters thing going. Keep everything in the middle of the road, okay? All right, talk to y'all later. Ciao. Thing if nose and turtle 3 times, that ain't gonna happen. So I let them do it. Yeah. Whew. So, hey Dion, what's going on? How are you? Yeah. So, I got a lot of work to do, y'all. Give me some work.
Yeah, we saw all that video already. I want to jump back to another, I think they were having another press conference here.
Fulton County, see what they have to say about that FBI raid.
I want to be crystal clear. Fulton County has been targeted for years because I stood up to Donald Trump's big lie and refused to bend to pressure.
Can barely hear it.
2020, I told him and others, including then Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, then Congressman Matt Gaetz, and the president himself, to stay the hell out of Fulton County. I meant it then, and I mean it today. Every audit, every recount, every court ruling has confirmed what we, the people of Fulton County, already knew. Our elections were fair and accurate, and every legal vote was counted. These ongoing efforts are about intimidation and distraction, not facts. I will always stand with our voters, our election workers, and most importantly, the truth. As you all know by now, yesterday, shortly after noon, until around 9 o'clock last night, the FBI made a surprise execution of a criminal search warrant at the Fulton County Elections Hub. Now, today, I want to speak directly to Fulton County voters as your chairman. Some people have asked and are still asking, why didn't you turn over the records? Why didn't you fight? Number one, let me be, again, crystal clear. There is a fight. Fulton County is now, has been, and always will be committed to upholding the law, no matter what anyone else does. Our attorneys carefully reviewed the search warrant and advised me and others that it was in the best interest of Fulton County to comply, which we did. Secondly, one of the strangest things about this case is these records were the subject of active litigation and, quite frankly, were likely to be unsealed and turned over in a matter of weeks. All he had to do was ask the judge to do so, but albeit in a much more orderly manner. We in Fulton County have nothing to hide. And finally, and most importantly, this is by no means over. This is by no means over. And we're grateful for everyone around the country who is in this fight with us. And they're with us from every corner of this great nation. Any honest review of these files will show what every previous review has shown. Fulton County elections are fair and lawful, and the outcome of the 2020 election will not change, period. Let me talk about voter protections. Now, we do not know where our election records have been taken or what will happen to them now that they're out of our control. While they were here, they were safe and they secure. Once they left Fulton County, our election center, I don't know where they are. I don't know who has them. I don't know what they're doing with them. We can no longer be held responsible for those ballots and other data that was seized yesterday, for what I'm hoping that we will stand together to ensure that no data is ever weaponized. Poll worker protection. After the 2020 elections, Fulton County poll workers endured brutal and targeted harassment. And it is imperative that data from the 2020 election not be used to further harass our poll workers who have already endured so much. Fast forward, this year, 2026 elections. This week's activities show that Fulton County is still much a target, and I'm told that I am personally a target. I'm a big boy. Now, what?
Yeah, a lot of black folk got like a terminal case of main character syndrome. He said, I'm the target. I'm a big boy. Nigga, get your ass out the way.
We've grown accustomed to name calling and rhetoric. We will not give 1 inch to those who seek to take control of our elections. Now, hear what I just said. We will not give 1 inch to those who seek to take control of elections in Fulton County. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. We're going to fight this in court with every resource that we have. And again, I'm very grateful to the support that is coming to us from around the country. Time and time again, the law has been on our side. And the greatest legal minds in the country agree it will be once again. I want to thank the local and national legal communities for their overwhelming support to us in this moment in the history of Fulton County, Georgia. Thank you.
I just want to say that Fulton County's Department of Registration and Elections has continued and will continue to maintain efficient, transparent, and accurate elections and election results. Our duty is to the voters and to the county voters, the electorate that goes out. We do not care what their political position is. We are there to make sure that they have an efficient process, that the process is fair, that the results are accurately and transparently reported. And that's what we will continue to do. We won't take our eye off the ball. We are continuing to focus on the 2026 election and those coming up, and Fulton County will stand strong. As the chairman said, poll workers have been targeted. We sometimes have difficulty recruiting poll workers because they are concerned about being subject to abuse. And I just want to thank the department and all of the staff that worked tirelessly yesterday until 9 o'clock at night and fully complied with the FBI. Even if we were surprised, we were able to efficiently comply, to discuss, and to make sure that what they were requesting, we complied with. Do we have concerns about the process? Are we concerned about the material, about voter information, and what will happen to personal, private information of voters? Of course we are, but that was out of our hands yesterday. We, like the chairman said, we will continue to be vigilant. We have a policy in Fulton County, if you see something, say something, so that voters know when they go to the polls that if anything goes awry, that someone will be reporting it. And we ourselves make sure that we report and tell anything that happens that's major, and we did that just a couple of months ago. So Fulton County will remain strong. We won't take our eye off the ball, and we thank those who are supporting us, and we hope that you all will continue to be vigilant and to not be subject to misinformation that may come out, because as the chairman said, we don't know how the information will be used. Thank you.
We can take a couple questions. We'll start here and then we'll work our way up. Yes, go ahead.
Quick question. So to that point, what sort of posture are you guys taking, like on a granular level, detailing like how voters can make sure that their information is safe, and how confident should voters be heading into the 2026 race that their votes are?
When you say what are we, you mean as moving forward, what do we do? We always maintain voter maintenance rules, and you know, in Georgia they have where that people who may be subject to stalking and things like that, that their information is safe as well. And so we try to make sure that it's not disseminated. Although the public is able to get voter information, it goes from the Secretary of State in order to make sure that people's information is protected, because they are in the best position to do that, not each county. And so that's what we do. Yesterday, with all of the information going and us not knowing exactly how it will be used, that had private voter information in it as well.
That this is by no means over. Can you talk about what steps Fulton County is going to take next?
Well, I don't want to disclose what our legal strategy is, but we will be fighting with every inch of our body with every resource that we have. We have great counsel. We have outside counsel working with her. So, and everyone has told us that we will prevail in the final analysis.
Excuse me 1 second. I'm just gonna grab this.
Sorry, I may just repeat your question. I have a series of questions. My first question, thank you, Jessica. Sure, this, good morning, thank you for doing this. You said that you were told that you're personally a target. Do you mean you're personally a target of this criminal investigation?
Not the criminal investigation, because of being outspoken and because I've talked about and refuted the lies that have been told about our elections in 2020. That's why I'm on the hit list. That's probably why I was disinvited to the White House, as you recall.
So the DOJ has not informed.
I have not received anything yet. I have not.
Who do you think the target of this investigation is?
I have no idea.
What do you think the likelihood is that the state election board will try to use some of the information they've gathered as a pretext for taking over Fulton County's election systems?
I think that's a great question. And when I said what I said, one of my remarks was, that's what I'm concerned about. It wasn't about yesterday. I think it's about something else that has not been revealed yet. So just stay tuned. We're ready.
Richard, Elliot also had a hand up. Sorry. Richard, just shout it out. One.
Two quick questions. Have you seen yet an unsealed warrant as to who or what the target of the criminal investigation is?
I have not.
No, we saw that it is under seal, but we have not seen it.
Because we understand that it may be that Fulton County is not the target of a criminal investigation, that another entity may be, but it may encompass.
We have no idea. Nothing was explained to us, and it was difficult even getting a copy of the warrant.
Do you believe that this is part of a criminal investigation, or is this part of something else we've seen in other states? Some critics, opponents have said this is intimidation for voters for midterms and elections moving forward.
I don't want to speculate, but I have heard that, and I have heard that it will not just stop here. There's an issue about voter maintenance rolls and whether or not the federal government should receive those. So I don't know.
Actually, there is a debate going on right now in the Georgia Senate for a resolution that urges the Secretary of State to turn over Georgia voter rolls, including Social Security.
And the Secretary of State has turned over what, according to the law, from what I understand, was allowable.
And Director Allen, do you know exactly how many records roughly were taken yesterday, or how many boxes?
700 boxes, and the reason I know that is because this case was already the subject of litigation, and it was in Superior Court. And so on February 9th was the date that we were scheduled to go in to talk about how everything would be transferred over. We wanted to make sure that we had transferred everything, and this was with the state, and the state would have been present as well. So it wouldn't be something that we just handed them. Everyone would have been in where the records were kept, and the copies would have been made, and everyone would have seen that. That's not what happened yesterday. So we know that all the boxes were taken, and we know that according to our count, we had been working with our attorneys to make sure that we had accurately determined what the information was electronically and in documents, and it was 700 boxes.
Chairman, you mentioned that you guys made a strategic decision yesterday to comply with allowing the FBI to take these documents. I see the county attorney here, and I know that you guys have a legal strategy. By complying, does that limit what you can do legally to retrieve those documents, to get them back, have a better understanding of what they're going to use them for?
I don't know the answer to that, but by comply, I meant that when we received a call shortly afternoon, I conferred with the county attorney. We went to the elections hub to make sure, first and foremost, that our employees were safe, but then to make sure that we're complying with whatever the FBI was requesting. And in fact, I was not even allowed where they were. I could peek in, but I wasn't even allowed in the area to see what they were taking.
And that was the case with everyone, that We did have someone from the department who knew what the records were and a couple of people, but I was allowed in to discuss with them and trying to negotiate a reasonable way to transfer documents and for us to maintain copies, but that wasn't allowed.
Some critics of the execution of this warrant have expressed concerns about the security of the ballots and the information, and that the information wouldn't be reviewed fairly. Do you share any of those same concerns?
Absolutely. I mean, as long as those documents were here in Fulton County, in our elections hub, under our care, I was confident that they were safe and secure. Once they left that facility last night in those FBI trucks, I don't know where they are now. I don't know who has them. I don't know what they're doing with them. Are they opening the boxes? Are they stuffing other ballots in there? I have no clue. I can use my imagination.
Yes, going back to Senator could be a target. Are you guys concerned that the administration may target officials like yourself and potentially arrest them?
I mean, I guess everything is a possibility. When I say that, I've been told that that's the case. If it is the case, I mean, that goes with the job. This is a full-time job for me. I'm the spokesperson for Fulton County. I'm the face of the county. I take that responsibility serious. And if it comes to that, so be it. We have done everything right. We've complied with the law. We will continue to comply with the law. And as far as future elections, I can guarantee the public that our elections will always be open, fair, and transparent, and every legal vote will be counted.
And I'd like to note that we have conducted 17 elections since 2020. 17 that we have conducted in Fulton County without incident, without any major problems, and we will continue to do so.
Guys, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it. One last question. Since our grant about covering that second chapter.
We've been listening there to Rob Pitts and Sherry Allen, just kind of deep.
I want to take one last look at some of the investigations from the 2020 election. You know, the most safest, securest election ever. You guys remember this?
There was no water main break at all. There was a toilet leak about 16 or 18 hours earlier in the day, leaking from the ceiling from a suite above. It was cleaned up. It had no impact on this election. The water main break pronouncement was obviously made to clear the room of all poll watchers and the media. So they were told that night that the vote count would be suspended because the water main break, and that they would resume the vote count the next morning. The next morning, everybody was stunned to learn that the people at State Farm Arena, there were 5 women that worked for about 2.5 hours from just before 11 p.m. until just before 1 a.m. Scanning ballots. And the disturbing thing about it is that there were 5 of these desks with women at each of the 5 desks. And we've labeled the first one here, kind of focused on her. She's wearing a purple top, desk 1. This is at 4x speed, so we don't have to sit there and watch, you know, it in a slower speed. But you can see that this lady is taking the same stack of ballots, and once she runs them through the scanner, there she goes. She sticks them back in and runs them a second time and a third time. And then the lady to her right, wearing the yellow top, we've got a second video that shows that she did the same thing with a stack of ballots on her desk. And so there's ballot scan number 3 from desk number 1. One man, one vote just went out the window at State Farm Arena on the night of November the 3rd, 2020. And it's here for all us to see. This is much like going to trial with a who ran the red light case, and instead of having people coming in and testifying about who ran the red light, you got a video showing who ran the red light.
It was really that simple. They did that all night during that quota water main break. You
There
know,
was no water main break.
there was no water main break. And not only that, it's not just the vote counting, but the voting itself is funny, you know?
Majority of the people we serve don't have an address, so we allow them to use our address if they register to vote and to get Georgia State ID. Because you have to have proof of residence, and so although we're not a shelter, we do allow them to use 201 Washington Street. So I can't even begin to tell you how many people have that address on their ID. And we've never run into any problem with that until this election. And one of our board members got wind that they thought we were doing things not on the up and up because so many people have the address. But we've not heard any repercussion from it since. So, but it's just a way to, people have to have an address. And,
That's
the only way they can get ID, which you've got to have to do anything else, is to have an address. So we allow that. We've done that for years.
We've always kind of been unsure about how many people were having us established as a mailing address, which is in terms of a large. So one day I walked in to a mail's house to pick up the mail. I remember it was like one of our ladies with the mail comes into our office, and she's like, "You got to get this stuff." And I'm like, and it's probably a couple thousand people that had our address registered as their mailing address for their voter registration. Oh wow! So I looked through, I'm like, well, this guy's dead.
So much fraud. It's not just Somalis taking Medicare money.
Those are illegal to have. I gotta go to the post office right now and drop it off, okay?
Do you go to like any particular post office? Like
I go throughout the entire city. If I have a bunch of them, what I'll do is if I have a bunch of them, I'll take 20 here, 30 here, 40 here.
Mix it up, not the same post office.
Of course not.
Yeah.
What I do in picking up the ballots when he was with me, that's illegal. I could go to jail. So I'm a little apprehensive to tell somebody, you know what I'm doing, you know what I'm saying? And again, once he works with me once, he's going to say,
I guess Trump was right. I'm sorry.
About doing shit illegal?
I'm sorry?
About doing stuff illegal?
Yeah. They all said he was full of shit.
Oh, hell no, he's not. It's true.
Yeah.
Because you're not supposed to do that.
Those are illegal to have.
Trump was right, y'all. Once again, Trump was right. Hit that like button, y'all.
Somebody had to do it. I am the chosen one. Somebody had to do it.
It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done.